If officer requested help at the bank, hospital, officer down.
Stay down. The suspect is shooting AK-47.
All units at the Bank of America, stay down. Shots are being fired, automatic fire.
Okay, I guess on February 28th, 1997, the day of the North Hollywood shootout, basically I was pretty much at home having a couple of my morning coffee, and what got the day going was I heard on my scanner that I had on at the time, I heard the news media assignment desks get on the radio calling all their units, news units that were out in the field, to stop whatever they were doing and start heading for North Hollywood. We're getting reports of a major shootout at the bank with multiple officers or people down. And when I got there, I saw one officer out with his gun looking toward the bank. We were across the street, and so I figured, okay, this would be a good place to start shooting from here. And then basically I got out and sort of thought maybe the situation was over, because I wasn't hearing any gunfire. The helicopters were still around though. Then all of a sudden I start hearing the machine gun fire going off from the two bank robbers across the street, and realizing, wow, this thing is still going. My main objective was, for the first shots, were to basically try to get one of the gunmen. I know there was two, at least one of them firing the weapon without getting hit. So I kept peeking over the wall a couple of times, this hedge behind this other officer, and basically the one suspect gradually was behind the car, their getaway car, with the trunk open, and he sort of stayed over there. I could see him firing the gun, I could see the muzzle blast flash coming out of the rifle, and a couple of times he aimed it up high, also firing at the news helicopters. And so I kept watching him, and then finally he came over to the other side of the car, to the left side. Of course, it's sort of backlit because it was somewhat the mid-morning. And of course, he's all in black, so there's no detail on the guy. And so figuring I had to keep waiting, and then he finally put the rifle up right underneath the Bank of America sign. And so that's when I sort of got out, I think up on a little brick wall, just to get some height, because where he was, there was also a metal bar that was in the way of a parking pillar or something. So I had to shoot over that and get him without trying to get hit. And he was shooting at the officers that were just around the corner from me, behind these trees. So he put the gun up. I fired I think 5 or 6 shots off before he put the gun back down. And so, of course, this is film now. This digital wasn't around back then. So put another roll of film in, and basically from there on we wanted to get more of a side shot. We saw his TV crew across the way, so we went through a supermarket, came out through the supermarket, people were on the floor taking cover, and when we came out, bullet holes were ricocheting above us, and they were still shooting. People were around us, praying, taking cover. The cops were around, showing up with the automatic weapons. And so as the thing progressed, I was taking pictures left to right all over the place, and then we sort of moved it a little bit over because these guys started going up the street. And so basically I had friends on the radio that were giving me updates what they were seeing on TV, so I can try to get an idea of what was going on visually up the street. And so when the one gunman basically was doing this situation with the SWAT guys up the street, LAPD brought in the armored car vehicle to rescue one of the people that I saw wounded hiding behind a police car. So I got shots of them, and then they brought in the armored car, and they rescued them, getting them in there and getting them out of there. So I got pictures of that whole sequence. But while that was going on, the battle up the street between the other suspect was going on up there. So we had two situations happening. So I figure there was no way I was going to be able to get up there in time, so I decided to stay below and get the armored car rescue of the people that were wounded, because I found that to be more visual, and being it was right there in front of me, it was happening, just, I wasn't going to pass up that opportunity. So got the rescue of the 3 civilians that were there behind the police car. One was wounded multiple times in his arm and shoulder area, and basically he survived. They were all in and out wounds. I think it was, I forget how many times, but 4 or 5 times this guy was wounded, but he lived. So we got pictures I got pictures of that sequence. And then gradually the gunfire stopped up above the street, and then I gradually went up there. Well, basically I stayed there for a while because the armored car went further in to get some of the other the people out of the bank, fearing that there might be other people, but apparently it just turned out to be just the 2 robbers at the time. Then after that, I went up the street to where the other suspect was killed in front of the car, and finished up there taking pictures. And pretty much after that, I was getting phone calls of get back to the paper and get stuff out. And Well, of course, we had to process film back then and get stuff sort of transmitted out through the computers. And that pretty much was sort of the end of the situation. And of course, it was weeks of investigation and everything like that. So, but that was pretty much it. It was a heck of a gun battle. Got some great shots, and something I'll never forget. And it's hard to believe it's been 15 years.
Okay, air range to control. Be advised, there are 2 suspects in custody. One is on Archwood and Agnes, and one is on Archwood between Radford and Hines. Those 2 suspects are in custody. Metro has one in custody, and North Hollywood has the other in custody.